And we are live. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 18 of Comic Convos. Tonight's guest, as always on Tuesday, we've got Rex from Dynamite Dynamic Forces. So everyone in the chat right now, please welcome Rex.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, AR? How you feeling, buddy?
What's going on? Good. How you doing today?
I can't complain. This week's dragging a little bit, and it's only Tuesday, so that's a little depressing.
A little bit. That's dragging a bit.
The whole day I felt like it was Wednesday or Thursday, and then I remembered, oh man, I got to do AR show, which means it's Tuesday. That can't be right.
Yeah, it's moving a little slow. I've been pretty busy. Actually, it's crazy. I don't know when the last time you got a new phone was, but I got a new iPhone yesterday, and that was the first time I got a new phone in, 4 years, I think. Well, probably 2 or 3 years, but even though my other phone was a couple years old when I got it, so it wasn't like I went to the store. Man, I was there for about 4 hours, I think, dealing with it.
What, because you couldn't get it to work, or because you just...
No, just getting it all going between T-Mobile systems, changing the plan, getting the phone to work. It literally was about 4 hours.
Wow, dude. I haven't. I was just talking about this, I think the other night with Robbie. I think I'm still working on an iPhone 7. My greatest fear is that it'll stop taking updates, because that's what they do.
I'm pretty sure you're at the point where it's going to.
It's getting close, which is a shame, because my phone is like, I take real good care of it, so it's like it's brand new. So I'm a little concerned though, but because once it stops taking updates, then you're done. But it's all a conspiracy. So look at that, we got Dave in the house. Dave, he's here for 20 minutes of food and football, then 5 minutes of comics. Let's rock.
Yeah, everybody else in chat: Roaming Savage, Dave, Adrian figure drawing,
Baldo, figure drawing. Dave, by the way, I sent you an email, buddy. We the 2 prizes you won, that little snafu we had, we sent those books out to you, brother. So you should be seeing them soon. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Absolutely.
And always, I gotta get my plug in for my buddy AR. If you're watching his channel, then you are a fan. Please, hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe if you haven't already. If you're a regular viewer of AR's channel, definitely subscribe. It helps him. You'll get alerts and stuff, things of that nature. And obviously you've watched his live streams. Great content, very knowledgeable. One of those guys who really is I don't know if critic's the right word, but evaluator. I don't know. What word am I looking for?
But it's just been a lot of fun. All of it.
Yeah, I love your stuff. It's critical content. Obviously our show's a little bit different. Oh, Preston in the house. Hey, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, Preston?
So, Preston, the books next to me are actually books that are going to be on our show tomorrow night, where AR's our special guest. So we've got autographed books, and we'll go through that. Check out the Dynamite YouTube channel. Nick usually does like a 2 or 3 minute video, just kind of previewing the books coming out this week. But I do have a preview as well, so I'll run through that list in a few minutes, but interesting week of football.
Oh yeah,
I'm not going to disappoint you, Dave. A very interesting week of football. It's been a weird season, but I will say that we had our first, what I think was a feel-good moment this season in NFL football, and that was Cam Newton back with Carolina.
Oh my God, that was wild! 2 plays, 2 touchdowns.
You know what?
Cool.
And I got to say, that was a great a great moment for football this season, because it's been a lot of bad stuff, dude. The Aaron Rodgers thing, and then Tom Brady losing 3 games, and acting kind of pissy at the press conference, during his media time. It hasn't been the greatest season, obviously, as Eagles fans.
It's been fun though.
We suffer every year, except for that 1 year, but more or less we just suffer. But a lot of people in the house. Nate Wolf in the house. AR. There you go. Figure drawing as well. I think I mentioned him before. I'm getting old and senile, but yeah, it was an interesting week. And I told you earlier before we went on the air that Rockin' Robbie last night was rocking his Dallas Cowboy hoodie. Oh my gosh! I just need him to lose. I'm telling you. I know your theory, AR, but I can't wait that long. Because all he does is, why would you? I bet you guys wish you were 7-2. Well, everybody wishes they were 7-2. Tampa Bay wishes they were 7-2. Okay, we need a bad loss, man. We need a bad loss for the Cowboys.
Hey, so we do have a quick question. pretty much for both of us. So Nate Wolf got a question. How much does it cost to get a book graded? So it's definitely going to come down to whether you want to use CBCS or CGC. To be honest, I only recommend those. There are other companies out there. I'm not going to try. I'm not going to put them down. I would just, in my opinion, stick to the big two for now. Just wait till they get a little bit bigger, a little bit more together with some of their stuff. Because I've heard of some people having some issues with some of the smaller ones. CBCS, if you have an account, I believe it's a dealer account's I think 14, but if you have a regular account, I think they are free too. It's around $18 to $22. I know they did just do a price change due to being extremely backed up. Everything's a little bit more expensive, and they push their wait times. Their wait times are insane right now. So for CGC, it's a little bit more expensive, but they did just make a post recently about being completely caught up. I think they just opened up packages from November 8th, and that's incredible on their end. So congrats to CGC. At this point, even though I do send my stuff to CBCS, I would give CGC a shot. They really did change around a lot of stuff. Their turnaround times are fixed. CBCS is outrageous. I was told at the end of October my books were coming out at the beginning of November, and what are we at now? The 16th, and I contacted customer service the other day, and they said it's going to be a couple more weeks. So, I mean, even when I sent those books in, it said 7 to 9 weeks for a turnaround time, and that was at the beginning of May of this year.
It's taken a while. I mean,
it's brutal.
I would agree with your first statement. With the smaller grading companies out there, I mean, everybody has to start somewhere, but it's funny how the market dictates value. So when you have a CGC or a CBCS, the more established grading companies, when you go to the secondary market, they're going to net more. So a CGC or a CBCS, 9.8 or 9.6 or whatever, is going to net more than one of the smaller companies, 9.8 or 9.0. And that has to do with reputation, size, just that kind of thing.
Now, super quick, I might be wrong actually on that. So Dave says CGC made the post about getting caught up on cards, not comics. I thought it was comics, so I could be wrong on that. So take that for what it is. Do your own research.
That would kind of make sense, what Dave's saying, only because the process of a card, you got to look at a number of factors they're probably battling with, beyond the fact that they were battling with the pandemic, and then the sudden uptick in submissions from people because they were stuck at home and they were bored, and you finally go to your attic, your basement, you're looking at your comic collection. No, you know what? I'll send this out, get it graded. I think, you got to remember, although you wouldn't think they would have a supply chain problem, where the plastic slab's coming from.
Yep. I heard plastics having a big issue.
Right, because they're coming from Asia. And then obviously it's just pure simple logic. For a card, it's a much smaller piece of plastic than it is for a comic book.
That too.
And not only that, a card is somewhat easier to deal with because it's a flat single piece of cardboard, as opposed to an entire book, of much thinner paper stock. So it takes probably a little bit more time to just manipulate it and slab it and all the other processes of it. And I have to say, to be honest with you, grading a comic is more difficult than grading a trading card.
Way more goes into it.
Exactly, because with a trading card, you're looking at corners, you're looking at centering, you're looking at color and whether or not it's clean and so on and so forth. With a comic, you're looking at so many things. You're looking at staples, you're looking at interior pages. Yeah, I mean, it's a much longer process. So, getting your comics graded is a personal choice. I mean, do they carry?
I agree.
A higher aftermarket value? They do. From a practical standpoint, having your comics sealed in plastic, a hard piece of plastic, obviously is going to keep it a lot safer, than keeping it in a bag and a board. But by the same token, you can't read that comic again. It's there forever. Although people have been known to break them out of cases, I will say this much, and I know people have done it. You do so at your own risk.
I've taken mine out of cases.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not an exact process. You know what I mean? I mean, you're pretty much there at the edge of a table with a hammer. And if you hit it wrong, you're gonna damage the comic, right, or the card, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I mean, I would agree with AR. I would stick with the bigger companies. But if it's a comic that doesn't have that high aftermarket value, and you don't foresee that it will, and your main purpose is to get it slabbed in protective plastic, then it probably wouldn't hurt, for the lower cost, whatever, to just do that because it happens to be your favorite, issue or whatever the case may be. But I would definitely, stay with the big boys just to be on the safe side.
I think what it also comes down to is, what are you as the collector looking for? Is this a book that you want to sell? Is this a book that you want to keep? Because if you go with CBCS, it's going to be a little bit cheaper. Obviously, turnaround time right now is a lot longer. They don't sell for as high. I mean, I've seen a lot of people who have sold CBCS books for same amount of money, but typically they don't sell for as much. So if you're looking to resell the book, definitely CGC is the right one. If you want to keep this book, I say screw it, send it in the CBCS for a little bit cheaper. They still, they go through the same process. Steve Borak was the head guy at CGC for all of those years, so he's highly respected in the community, and now it's his company. So, I trust that.
Right. No, and let me say this. I mean, something else to keep in mind when you're doing this is that the market balances itself.
That's it.
So, I've seen it with trading cards, I've seen it with comics. What ends up happening is that, okay, so let's just say a CGC 9.5 is going to get more in the secondary market than, say, a CBCS 9.5. Okay, so maybe the equivalent is, and I'm just using, I'm just pulling numbers out of a hat here. I'm not saying that this is the case, but so maybe to get the equivalent value, you need to get a CBCS 9.8. Okay, and that's equivalent to a CGC 9.5. I've seen it definitely with trading cards, because just the grading companies, PSA and SGC, the rest of them, they've just been around longer. So you see that, and the market normalizes itself. So you realize if that's what you're doing and you're buying and selling and trading graded cards or graded comics, okay, well, a CGC 9.5 is really a CBCS 9.8. Okay, so they're equivalent. And again, they're just numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So it all kind of depends what it is that you're really after. As AR is saying, what is the purpose? If your purpose is to max the value, you believe it's a certain grade, then maybe CGC is the better place to go for you. But again, it's more expensive. So the comic that you're getting graded needs to be of a certain value, whatever you as a collector decide yourself, a certain value to justify the cost. If you're looking at a $4 book that's been at $4 for the last 20 years, is it worth spending all that money to wrap it in plastic? Maybe it is for you, but if what you're looking to do is to sell it, it probably isn't,
The other thing with CGC that I'm not 100% sure on is that they, so when you are actually submitting the book, you have to truly put what the book is worth, and over time that could change. So if you don't put the right amount, they will actually change that so that you are owing, or you are paying them more money, because now the book is worth a lot more money. CBCS, to my knowledge, does not do that, because I've never dealt with a situation like that. I put what the book is worth, and I don't get any sort of upcharge. But say you're sending in like a Hulk 181 or a big time book like that, right, it's going to cost more money through CGC to get that book graded because of the value of that book.
Right.
But
no,
it's something
I
to consider.
agree with that statement. Yeah. So I hate to say it there, AR, but it looks like in the chat boards there, we've got a Dallas Cowboy fan lurking around there.
Yeah, I saw
it's
him.
Ryan.
Yeah, whatever.
I still like you, Ryan. It's okay.
Ryan's a good guy, but I say it all the time. Just wait till that week 1 of the playoffs. It's okay.
I'd say let's just wait until the half of that first game.
Yeah, for all we know, what are they? You said 7-2.
Yeah,
they could just keep losing. They've had a super easy schedule. What, they beat just a couple hard teams, maybe a couple.
Let me say this: that if God forbid they get to the second round of the playoffs, okay, they manage to somehow work their way in the NFC Championship.
We'll never hear the end of it.
Oh my gosh, I won't be able to do shows with Robbie. It'll be over, right?
That'll be a wrap.
You'll be checking your phone. Your phone will be blowing up like a Christmas tree from Robbie. It'll be horrible. But yeah, so coming up tomorrow, we've got a whole bunch of stuff. As always, we'll have signed books. We'll have sketch cover remarks, graded books. Interestingly enough, we were just talking about it. The upside is the graded books that we're going to present to you. And I believe that everything that we're bringing tomorrow night is going to be guaranteed 9.8. And we try to do them at ridiculous prices. So really kind of, if you are a graded book collector, and obviously some of our viewers are, this is a great way to pick up a graded book. You don't have to wait. You don't have to deal with the packaging, sending it through, waiting for them to open it up, waiting for them to grade it, waiting for them to slab it, waiting for it to come back to you. And, you know, quite honestly, as we've discussed before, when you send your books in, you really don't know what grade you're getting. You know, the grade's going to be what the grade is. And so with us, you know that if we say it's 9.8, because we only ever bring one for the prices that we have, we can only ever really bring one to each show. So you'll know if it's a 9.8, we'll tell you right there. This is the one you're getting. It's 9.8. If it's a 9.6, we'll tell you. You know, there it is. It's a 9.6. I would say, except for vintage books, whether they be silver, bronze, just, you know, older books, almost all the CGC or graded books that we bring will be either a 9.6 or a 9.8. So, you know, just kind of bring something to collectors out there. Sketch cover remarks. I know that you weren't necessarily a Ken Hazer fan when we started this, but I think you are now, AR. We, you know, between John and I, we've pummeled you into Ken Hazer fandom. John and I were talking. He should make us president of his fan club.
So to be honest, I really didn't know of his artwork all that well. But after seeing it now week after week, it's like, damn, like it's really grown on me. So and he's got such a wide range too.
Yeah, you don't expect to see that. You know, I've seen the guy do, you know, Mickey Mouse in the Disney style. I've seen him do Archie in that style.
Yeah.
You've seen the Alien and Predator remarks on the blank black variant covers done in silver paint pen, which is a incredibly difficult medium to work with. And just everything. I mean, you know, I think I was talking to, I was talking to John about this, each creator that you see out there has their own unique style. Like you can recognize Alex Ross from across the room, Peach Momoko, you know, from across the room. Each person has their own style. Ken has his style, but it seems like he has this ability to mimic everybody else's style. Okay, you know, and very, very easily. It's amazing the different kind of things that we've had him remarked, and you look at it and you're like, wow, you know, I can't believe that he can do that. We'll also have ultra limited edition variant covers, virgin covers, you know, on the air tomorrow for the show. Anything you can think of. We'll have a statue. Once again, I have not decided what that statue will be, but between now and tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we'll have decided. Those have done really well. We had a couple of lithos last night, or a couple of prints, Vampirella prints by Lucio Perillo. Okay, are you listening, Dave? Hopefully, I got corrected by Dave like 4 times last night. So
I remember from last week.
Yes, right. And
big
someone else
letters
was correcting me as well. I forget who it was. It was maybe 62 Lefty. I can't remember. But right, so prints by Lucio Perillo, which we had 2, and they both sold out almost immediately. We always encourage people, let us know what it is that you're looking for. If we can get our hands, there's Dave. If we can get our hands on it, we will definitely bring it onto the show. If you haven't watched our show before, you know, join us tomorrow, 6 to 8 Eastern on The Experience. We do things a little differently. I think when we started this, we really didn't know what the personality of the show was going to be. We kind of just shot from the hip. We had AR join us. We had Robbie join us. And I think we've kind of figured out the identity of the show. You know, you have content shows which you and Robbie do, and they're excellent. Yours is different from Robbie's. You have a more critical take on different subjects. I think we talked about this last week about your honesty, which I think people appreciate. And then you have stuff that Robbie does, and then you have the claim shows where it's just flashing comic after comic after comic, which is great. You know, I mean, there's definitely a place for that as well. But we wanted to differentiate ourselves in the show. So somehow it kind of evolved into this. You know, I don't even know what to call it. We talk about just about anything. We can talk about football. We could talk about, you know, what's going on in everybody's life, food. But John's not here. So the quality.
I was going to say no John tomorrow.
There's no John tomorrow. John is on Thanksgiving break like a college student.
I'm seeing all the posts he's making. I'm seeing
the beer
right? One, the French toast one.
Drinking before noon.
Yeah, it looks good.
You know,
looks like a lot of fun.
We never get to see. So yesterday's conversation about food devolved into nothing but spam, Vienna sausages, all the stuff that came in a can.
Ugh,
Yeah.
stop.
This is how we tell you're younger than us. All right, we were latchkey kids. I think 62 Lefty used the term latchkey kid. That was how we survived when we got home from school. You know, mom and dad are at work. What are we going to do? We're hungry. Pop a can.
Sandwich.
A little ham, okay, a little bologna, Vienna sausages.
I
Okay.
hate those things so much.
Oh, dude.
But
you know what? When you get back into the area, we'll have John cook Spam for you. Okay. If John
he could probably cook it right.
Spam, nobody can.
So super quick, I know I saw Ryan. Hopefully he's still in here. I didn't not see your question, but I wanted to finish up what we were quick saying before we could get back to this. So I'm not 100% on this. If someone in the chat right now does know a lot better than I do. So I think what I meant to say is, as far as it costs more, is that if you don't put the correct value of the book, so I'll go back to the example of Hulk 181. So if you mark that down as, say, just a couple $100, so I'm actually looking at CGC right now, where it's either modern or economy. It's so modern book, 1975 the present, economy is pre-1975. Max value per the item is $400. So if you're, in your opinion, you think that the Hulk 181 is worth $400, which is obviously not, it's worth a lot more. It's my understanding that they are going to bump that up because that is not the max value of the book. The max value would then push it to the standard of the standard is the next like send in. So the max value for a standard shipment would be $1,000. So maybe the book at that rate is a little bit more worth that level. So now that they've bumped it up, instead of paying that, say, $20 to $40 that the modern would cost, it's now going to cost, say, the $50 to $75 because it falls into a different category in their opinion. I've seen that happen to people because they they felt that the value wasn't there. But I think that's what I should have said in the beginning. I think that's what they do. They just change it to a different category.
Right. I believe that you're correct. And I would guess the logic is that, somebody sends in their comic, CGC destroys it accidentally, their insurance issues involved, right? So a $50 valued book as opposed to a $5,000 valued book, you're looking at different kind of insurance costs there. Is my assumption. Again, I don't work for CGC and I don't claim to know exactly, what goes on. But yes, I believe what AR just said is correct.
But like I said, not 100%, but I'm pretty positive.
So we got new comic book day coming up tomorrow. So
best day of the week.
It'll be me and AR from 6 to 8 tomorrow night, and we'll have some great comics here. Just to give everybody kind of a sneak peek, we have a Kirby Genesis #1 acetate cover signed by Alex Ross. We have an Alex Ross Battlestar Galactica high-end Virgin Art Ultra Limited Edition cover. Let me see what else. We have Deadpool #2 signed by co-creator Fabian Nicieza. Some great remarks by Ken Hazer. We got a Harley Quinn Suicide Squad one with a half Joker, half Harley Quinn that looks awesome.
Now I do have a quick question for you, Rex.
Dude.
So only because I do a lot of content that involves, new comic book day, upcoming releases, my Sunday video for the upcoming releases, they've been absolute hell to make because all these publishers' schedules keep changing. Books are now coming out that week. Other books aren't coming out that week. So in my videos, it's a lot of different cuts that seem unnecessary. Are you finding that same issue with a lot of like Dynamite stuff? Are you running into, all right, we need to push this book back. We need to do this now. Because I think it's for next week, you guys, I noticed one of the books, I think it was Vampirella 24, only has one cover and another issue only has a couple covers instead of the usual, like 10 to however many. So do you find yourself running into any sort of issues like that?
Now, I don't know that actually, to be honest with you, to be totally frank. The best thing to do is after the show, shoot me an email because I can get you the answer. But the only problem is I'm not intimately involved with the publishing end of the business. Yep. So I'm not sure if they're running into any kind of issues like that. I know in the last 18 months, everything's been challenging on a lot of different levels. And sometimes what's happening with, Diamond as a distributor and some of the issues there could have a reverb effect on us and how we schedule things. As far as I know, there aren't any major issues that we've been seeing that would prevent things coming out on the published schedule. But again, before I open my big mouth, I'd want to check with people that deal with the publishing end of our business, a little bit more clearly before I give you a real answer. But definitely shoot me an email. I can definitely get you that answer.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I'm finding out like just Marvel. The last couple of videos, I've actually had to reshoot Marvel completely because it's not even a couple books. Because if it's just a couple books, I can usually work around that a little bit. But it's been sometimes like 20 books or 25 books down to about 14. So it's a massive change.
Right.
And then this coming video, I've been editing it today for not this Sunday, but the next Sunday I started editing it. Image has 2 books that they're not coming out with anymore. Marvel changed, I think, 2 or 3 books. DC has 2 books that aren't coming out. And a lot of the smaller indie publishers as well, their schedules are really, really changing.
I didn't realize that. That is a very interesting question. Yeah, definitely email me. Let me knock on a few doors and see if I can get some answers for you, because that's interesting. I was not aware that the problem was that pervasive.
Because not just that, I mean, I'm not sure if you saw it, but Image isn't doing any extra prints anymore. Image has actually cut down on most of their variant covers as well, and so has a lot of the smaller indie publishers. Typically, a lot of the books, a lot of times they'll only have one, a cover A, but there's some series that, to me, because I make the videos, I know usually have a lot of covers, and they're really cutting them down. Even Department of Truth that now got pushed to December 1st, they are only down to a few covers instead of the usual 30-ish. And it's, variants are down, extra prints are down. I think last week there was no extra prints coming out. And usually there's at least a few from every publisher.
Right. That's interesting. Now, you've touched on a very interesting subject. Now, I know that, coming out this week for us at Dynamite, we have Purgatory #2, and it comes in the 4 covers, A, B, C, and D. Elvira Meets Vincent Price also has 4 covers. Vampirella Holiday Special 2021 comes out with 3 covers, and then Army of Darkness 1979 #3 will come out with 5 covers.
I can't wait for that series.
Yeah, so
I love it.
So I believe that's what was scheduled, and nothing has changed. But again, I don't deal with the publishing side on a day-to-day basis, so I could be incorrect, and it wouldn't be the first time, nor would it be the last time. That's why we have you on the show. All right, between John and I, listen, we're not that smart. Okay, we eat pretty good though. Well, John does. I don't. I get to look at pictures of his food on his Instagram, which I got to mention. And between you, me, and Robbie, we got to mention this to him. That's me. Okay, showing pictures of food and telling us you're drinking before noon when we're all working is just me. I think it's the passive aggressive part of John that we haven't seen yet. But I'm going to stoke him a little bit more, because the first night he comes back, guarantee you, all Batman. No Green Hornets.
And Wolverine.
Actually, I may send him an email while he's away to ruin his vacation, tell him that Nick's made the decision to discontinue Green Hornet.
Just shoot him that text. I see Dave right here.
Anyway, hey, hope you're having fun. Bye.
Yeah, we're done. No more Green Hornet. No more any of that stuff. Only Batman, only Wolverine.
So, Dave's opinion is that's a good thing. We need fewer variants and incentives. Joffrey is in the house. Just saying hi, buddy. Thanks for joining us. Ryan, thank you for saying that. The Red Sonja series is awesome. We appreciate it.
Really, it's fantastic.
As independent publishers, we try to work harder to do better. Because that's our main business. It'd be nice to be the size of a Marvel or DC and to have all these movies that make billions and gajillions of dollars. But we're comic book publishers, so we try to do it right, and we try to do it right every time. So we always appreciate hearing the kind words, and I know our publishing department does as well.
So I'm not gonna lie. I do agree with Dave to an extent. So he says, good, we need fewer variants and incentives. I'm typically just a cover A guy. Sometimes I get the incentives, very rarely. But I feel like I think having fewer incentives, fewer variants, and just fewer extra prints is actually, in the long run, going to help the just comic book community, just the comic book hobby in general. Because now it's going to kind of steer away some of the people who are trying to flip everything. This is just my opinion, but so now you have all these companies out there that are pumping out exclusive after exclusive, and then they're putting a number on it saying, oh, it's only limited to 250, 300. You need to hop on this. And now all of a sudden it sells out, and it's selling for an insane amount of money on eBay, but in reality, maybe the issue has no significance as all. And this actually really irked me. I know we're coming up on that 30-minute mark, and you do have a meeting that you are going to get to on time.
Gonna keep me to the task.
Yes, but this is my final thing on that whole subject, because this email actually really bothered me. I'm not going to say who the company was, but they sent out an email in the I don't send a lot of emails, but the header, so before you open it, you see the subject.
Right.
It said it was Hulk, I think issue number 2 or issue number 3 exclusives, now available for pre-order. It said any issue could be a key issue, and then it went into the actual description of the email saying you need to purchase this because any one of these issues could have a first appearance or something big happening to the series. I got pretty mad about that. I'm not gonna lie, because as a company, you're pumping out your own exclusive. You're not even talking about how cool the cover is or who the artist is. Your whole tagline is you need to buy this because it could have a first appearance. It could have something major to the story. You don't want to miss out on this. So I was pretty mad about that. And on top of that, most people who are kind of flipping books, they usually go for cover A or some incentives. You don't typically see the exclusives being the ones that are selling for a ton of money. They usually hold value because of the number attached to it. But I don't know. That kind of really bothered me when I saw that.
Well, I guess I kind of look at it this way. The speculation part of it, there is a negative side to it, and I think I've already, and I won't, rehash the old story of the Turok way back in the day. But I think the speculators, overall, they help to enhance the collecting hobby, because the true collectors, the true readers out there, it's nice if something that they have in their collection rises in value. Okay.
Yeah.
And the speculators are able to do that. Now, what you just said from the unknown publisher, it's got to be one of the big boys, but the unknown publisher trying to dictate or trying to capitalize on the exclusive nature, I don't know how that's going to work. It may work, it may not work. But I think the big shakeout with the speculators, and at that time it was really guys in sports trading cards that did speculation, I think the industry kind of learned a lesson. And Turok was a perfect example of that, was that the sports card guys forgot. They thought it was like trading cards. Well, it's limited. It's this, it's that. They killed Superman. They broke Batman's back. Oh my gosh, whatever. And all this speculation, all this hype happened, and then the market crashed. Okay. And all of a sudden these guys, before, they ordered it in solicits, and the next thing you know, they're dumping the books before they've even been printed. And the value was just dropping like a rock. So from that perspective, I think the lesson learned was, guys, it's not a sports trading card. It is not somebody that the sport missed as a rookie who turned out to be the next greatest thing, a la Tom Brady, right? 6th round, right? 6th round pick.
Something like that.
Yeah, nobody saw that coming. And all of a sudden now, everybody's chasing Tom Brady's rookie card, right? Of course. But comics, the beauty of comics, and the reason it doesn't work like that is because it is something that's come out of someone's creativity, their imagination. So guess what? To everybody's surprise, they killed Superman. Guess what they did next? They go, wow, that really sold well. They brought him back.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the thing. Nobody stays dead too.
Books. That's the whole point. So I think that era kind of chased out that reckless kind of speculation. Now, this unknown to be named later publisher that's tried to do this might work a couple of times, but I think that what we learned from that lesson way back in the day was that the core, the value, the people that drive the hobby itself are those that are true collectors and true readers, not the speculators. The speculators are always on the side. It's the Warren Buffett statement. Invest in something you understand, invest in something you believe in, okay, and then hold your investment. Then you have on the opposite end day traders that jump in and out during the course of a day. Okay, trying to make that margin. So just like a Warren Buffett trader as opposed to a day trader, I think it's the same thing. The core of the industry will always be those readers. And I think that lesson was learned. Okay, you can sell 1.1 million copies of Turok, but you only have 100,000 readers. What does that mean? Okay, that means that's going below cover price before that thing ever hits any retailer. So I'm not as concerned. I think it's an interesting idea that was come up with by some analyst in a suit that doesn't actually read comics. and says, well, why wouldn't this work? Well,
I just
because
think
you
the
can only
problem.
hit that well a couple of times before people like yourself figure it out and go like, well, you're just making this up. Okay.
I just think the problem with it is that they're trying to capitalize on people who might not know much. The Hulk series is a brand new series. The first issue comes out this week or next week. Actually, I think it's next week. And they're telling, someone who might be new, someone who doesn't know comics, hey, this could be huge. Any of these issues could be huge. So you should buy this for this reason. And they're just trying to capitalize on someone with not as much knowledge. But if you have someone who does read a lot of comic books, this series is written by Donny Cates. He's very good at what he does. He's very good at writing. But someone who reads a lot of his stuff, you should take into consideration that some of his new characters in his first appearances aren't exactly what they seem. We saw that happen in Venom. Obviously, Knoll was massive. That's a little bit different. But then we had some of the other first appearances later in the series that people were buying up, and it turned out to be nothing. The same thing kind of happened in Thor with the Black Winter. That was huge for a hot minute. Kind of killed it off, but I think Black Winter is going to make a big comeback, so we'll see how that plays out. And now maybe the same thing's going to happen in Hulk.
Let me say this, and my final point, and then I do have to bounce, but here's something to think about. So you get that guy who maybe doesn't know that much, or that girl, whatever, doesn't know that much and falls for this marketing ploy. They read the book, they read Donny Cates. They go, wow, this guy's something else. This is a great read. No, there's no first appearance. Nothing spectacular happens. It's not the issue. But you know what? I really enjoy the art. I really enjoy Donny Cates. You know what? Let me pick up whatever else he's written. So maybe in a sense that draws a new collector, a new reader into the fold, because maybe he doesn't pick up Donny Cates without this artificial kind of marketing. So I guess there's two ways of looking at that. But I do have to go to this meeting. I told you this would happen.
I know.
And it's not you, it's me. I can't shut up. That's what Mariano tells me all the time. I can't shut up.
I should have told you though, it's not a publisher, it's a comic book. They sell exclusives. Like this is all it is. So realistically, someone buying that probably wouldn't read it to begin with because it's a limited store exclusive.
That has limited legs anyway.
That's where I should have started everything. I just didn't really want to tell
that
who
means
it was.
It has limited legs anyway, because if you're a speculator, then that's what you are. Today it's this, tomorrow it's Dogecoin, tomorrow it's whatever. Shibu Inu coin, so they'll hop just to something else, whatever's the shiny object of the moment. So,
facts.
But
I know you got to go.
I got to go. Be sure to join us tomorrow night for more engaging conversation with AR.
We'll pick this up.
Definitely thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you, chat. Thank you again, Rex. I know you're very busy, so I appreciate the time you take out of your day. I'm also doing YouTube shorts now as well. I'm putting them up every single day. Be sure to check those out. It's only like a 15-second thing, but they're a lot of fun to make. And on that note, catch us tomorrow. All the links are down low in the description. Go enjoy that meeting. Thank you, guys, and have a good night.